The surface of the ocean is a skin, thin, bright, deceptive. Below it, in the twilight zone, the rules of survival are not just different. They are inverted. And the creature that rewrote those rules is one you have been taught to ignore. You have seen them washed up on beaches, translucent, helpless, a nuisance to swimmers. You have been told they drift, that they have no brain, no heart, no blood, that they are simple, primitive. That is the surface assumption, and it is catastrophically wrong. In 1967, marine biologist William Hamner was diving off the coast of California when he saw something that forced him to re-examine everything he thought he knew. He was following a swarm of jellyfish, the species Pelagia Noctiluca, the mauve stinger. When one of them did something the textbook said was impossible, it turned against the current, deliberately. Hamner watched it for several minutes. It was not drifting. It was hunting, and it was choosing its path with precision. Here is what most people get wrong. Jellyfish are not passive bags of water. They are the most energy-efficient predators on the planet. Their locomotion system uses less energy per movement than any animal ever measured. They do not fight the current. They use it. They read the water like a map. If that made you stop and recalculate what you thought you knew, you are exactly where this channel wants you. Subscribe to keep peeling back the layers of what the ocean hides, because the real answers are never on the surface. In the comments, drop the word that sums up what you just learned about jellyfish. I will start. Strategy. Think about what that means. An organism with no centralized brain can calculate drift, direction, and prey density simultaneously. It can detect vibrations from a swimming fish at a distance that would surprise you. It can sting you without touching you. Nematocysts fire at a speed of 2 million Gs. That is faster than a bullet leaving a gun. If you have ever watched a nature documentary and felt like it showed you the ocean but never explained how anything actually survives down there, you know how unsatisfying a pretty shot without a real answer feels. Here is the real answer. Jellyfish are not the bottom of the food chain. They are the silent apex of a different kind of strategy. This is the part most people miss. In 2009, a swarm of Nomura, the Nomura jellyfish, sank a 10,000-ton fishing trawler off the coast of Japan. The crew did not hit a storm. They did not hit a reef. They sailed into a wall of jellyfish so dense that the water turned to jelly. The nets filled. The strain snapped the cables. The boat capsized. A creature with no spine, no skeleton, no brain, sank a steel ship. Now consider this. Jellyfish have been on Earth for at least 500 million years. That means they survived every mass extinction the planet has ever thrown at them. The dinosaurs died. The jellyfish stayed. They evolved a strategy so effective that change became optional. Here is what changes everything. In 2015, researchers at the University of Southern Denmark discovered that the moon jellyfish Aurelia Aurita does not age. Not in the way you understand aging. When it is injured or starved, it can reverse its life cycle. It transforms back into a polyp. It resets. It becomes young again. Then it grows up a second time. If this made sense instantly, it is because you already understood something deeper about survival. Some people hear this and ignore it. You are not that person. Write this in the comments. What did you think jellyfish were before this video? What do you think now? Because here is where the story gets stranger. The mechanism that allows this reversal is being studied by geneticists who believe it could change how we understand human cellular aging. The jellyfish is not just a survivor. It is a living archive of a biological trick we are only beginning to decode. But that is not the strangest part of how it hunts. The nematocyst, the stinging cell, contains a pressurized capsule called a nematocyst. Inside, it is a coiled tube coated in venom. When triggered, that tube fires outward, everting through the cell wall at a speed that creates a force strong enough to pierce the exoskeleton of a crustacean. The trigger mechanism is purely mechanical. It responds to specific chemical and tactile signals. But here is the problem. The jellyfish has no brain to decide when to fire, so each nematocyst operates independently. It makes its own decision, on its own. That is not a simple organism. That is a distributed intelligence system. Now stop. Picture that for a second. Every single one of the thousands of tentacles on a jellyfish is covered in thousands of independent weapons, each one capable of deciding to fire without waiting for a command from anywhere. And they coordinate. They do not all fire at once. The ones near the prey's soft tissue fire first. The ones near armor hold. It takes no time. It takes no thought. It just works. In June of 2021, a team from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute deployed an ROV at 800 meters off the coast of California. They were looking for siphonophores. What they found was a jellyfish they could not identify. It had a bell the size of a dinner plate and tentacles that extended more than 10 meters. When the ROV approached, the jellyfish pulsed once. The ROV lost sight of it for several seconds. When the camera regained focus, the jellyfish was gone. It had displaced itself vertically by more than 60 meters in less than 4 seconds. No muscle, no bone, just water and pressure and timing. The ocean at this depth is not silent. It is full of vibrations. The jellyfish reads them. It feels the approach of a predator long before you see it. It feels the pressure wave of a fish swimming. It feels the current shifting around a rock. And it adjusts, continuously, effortlessly. If you have ever assumed the deep ocean was empty, this is the footage that proves otherwise. It is not empty. It is full of creatures that learn to do more with less than you ever thought possible, and that is exactly why you need to stay. Subscribe now, because the next story involves a jellyfish bloom and a nuclear reactor, and that is a confrontation you do not want to enter uninformed. In the comments, tell me, which detail from this video hit you hardest? The aging reversal? The independent weapons? The eyes? Pick one. The jellyfish has no heart. It has no lungs. It absorbs oxygen directly through its skin. That means it does not need to breathe at a specific depth. It can live anywhere the water reaches, from the surface to the Hadal zone, from tropical seas to the Arctic. There is a species of jellyfish that lives under the ice in Antarctica, another that lives in hydrothermal vents at 4,000 meters, another that lives in the brine pools of the Mediterranean, pools of water so salty they kill almost anything that enters them. The jellyfish enters them anyway. Here is what most people get wrong about jellyfish blooms. They are not random. They are not caused by pollution alone. They are a response. When the ocean warms, when overfishing removes their competitors, when the pH shifts, the jellyfish do not just survive. They thrive. They bloom. Swarms covering hundreds of square kilometers. Clouds of life that move through the water like a slow pulse. In 2010, a bloom of Nematocysts leadii, the warty comb jelly, crashed the entire anchovy fishery in the Black Sea. The fish could not compete. The jellyfish ate the same plankton, but the jellyfish ate it faster. They reproduced faster. They required less energy. The fishery collapsed. The jellyfish stayed. You now understand the ocean's hidden rules better than most people who have spent a lifetime near it, because you sat through the part where the simple creature was revealed as anything but simple. Somewhere in the North Pacific, at a depth of 300 meters, a Chironex fleckeri, the box jellyfish, is drifting through a current that will carry it toward the coast of Australia before dawn. It has no reason to move, it has no destination, but it can see. Box jellyfish have 24 eyes. 4 of them can form images. They have a rudimentary centralized nervous system. They can navigate around obstacles. They can choose direction. They hunt fish. They avoid predators. They do not drift. If this changed how you see the ocean, tell me in the comments. Which moment surprised you most? Was it the aging reversal, the independent weapons, the eyes? And if you want to understand what really happens when a jellyfish bloom meets a nuclear power plant, the story engineers tried to suppress, that story is waiting in our next video. I will see you there.